Hello, everybody.
Don't do like that, you
That's
pedo.
really creepy. Don't do that ever again.
I'm going to do it all the time now. It's going to be hilarious. Okay.
Welcome to the show where we talk about real film movies, which are both the same thing, but we'll talk about the news and reviews, any views on film and TV, and comic books too. We'd love to hear from you. We hope you enjoy it too. So subscribe to Real Film Podcasts and Reviews.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to Real Issues, formerly known as the Real Film Podcast. We've done a little kind of reboot, and we're going to talk, instead of doing news, reviews, all that sort of stuff, we're going to talk about more controversial things, maybe? I'm here with Matt. Oh, well done, Matt. Jumped the gun there, haven't you? But you're here. Thanks for waiting for your introduction, Rude. And
Yeah, I'm here.
Harriet
That's no
is
problem.
also here.
I'm here as well.
Are you excited about the new format? More questions,
Yeah.
more debate, serious issues,
Super
like
exciting.
what if Batman and Superman's mum wasn't called Martha?
Had other old lady names?
It's a very important issue.
It is an important issue. This week, we're going to be asking the question, should La La Land have cast musical theatre actors instead of Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling? When it first came out, like, was it Sundance and stuff, and people, or was it London Film Festival, something like that, where people were like buzzing over it for ages, and then kind of when it got its big release, people got very upset at the casting of Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling in the lead roles.
Well, at first, everybody loved it. Like, I didn't see like a single bad review of it at first. Everyone was like, "Oh, it's so amazing!" And then after like a couple of weeks, when it started really picking up, people started going, "Oh, well, this is wrong with it, and that is wrong with it, and it shouldn't win the Oscars because of these reasons." And like the same publications that were raving about it and giving it like 5 stars were now going, "Actually, it's not very good."
Yeah, the
You know,
Guardian's
for-
the main sort of
Yeah,
perpetrator of that, I think. I think they gave it like 5 stars in like 2 independent reviews, and then started moaning about various aspects of it, which was a bit kind of weird, really.
yeah.
So
Basically, because it's got white people in it. But
basically, that was one of their main problems. But
yeah,
so the main sort of criticism that I've seen from not only kind of journalists and kind of people who kind of think they know what they're talking about, is criticism over Gosling and Stone's ability to dance and sing. Fair,
Yes.
unfair.
a fair assumption. Definitely, they're not overly talented. I mean, they're not horrendous. It's not.
But like,
It's not like me trying to do it, but it is a fair accusation on if you're judging both of them solely on their singing and dancing ability. Yeah, they're not amazing, but it's
But
almost like there's
it's not the
maybe a
X Factor.
purpose.
but even like
Yeah, exactly.
Emma Stone's audition scene's really good. It's not like
audition.
it's the other one where she does the big number like on her own.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
not like you're watching that thinking, "Oh God, this is awful."
Yeah, I think the only time you're thinking that is like I know Laura, who's like really into musical theatre trained, was
Your
thinking
imaginary
she's not very-
girlfriend.
Yeah, she's not very good, but that's obviously because that's. Do you think like a normal person wouldn't sit there and be like
People listen to Ed
"This is
Sheeran.
terrible"?
Like people don't care how good people are at singing.
Yeah, that's it. I don't think people are sat there watching that scene or watching that film going, "These people are absolutely horrendous at singing."
There are lots of famous musicians that aren't great singers, but it's not about the quality of their singing because they're supposed to be normal people, and neither of them claim to be singers as the characters themselves either.
Yeah,
Like-
exactly.
I saw things
But-
saying that Ryan Gosling was playing a jazz singer, and it's like he's not playing a jazz singer. He's playing a jazz pianist.
Who sings in the film?
He sings
Doesn't
in the
sing
film. He doesn't
professionally,
sing. He doesn't sing as his character. Like he doesn't. The character. Yeah, no, it's just he's not a jazz singer. He's a jazz pianist. They sing in the musical.
Do you want to know what Ian McKellen said about it?
What?
A man that I really like, and now he's disappointed me with his fundamental lack of understanding of this film. He
Yeah.
said, "No disrespect to La La Land, but if you can't dance and you can't sing, then you shouldn't. It's unnecessary."
Yeah,
It's a bit
what if you
sassy,
enjoy
that.
it?
Yeah, exactly. Like he was asked, I think
Enjoy
he
it.
was asked, it was in context to his Beauty and the Beast role where he was asked, does he want to do like musicals and stuff? He's like, yeah, I'd like to, but I can't sing or dance. I don't like to unnecessarily just have a slag off
dig
La
at
La
La
Land.
La Land. Yeah, because to be
It's a
fair,
bit of a dick move, really.
Dan Stevens isn't a very good singer.
Yeah, exactly. And why don't you look at your own film, mate?
Yeah.
That's totally unfair because it's not.
Because I know a lot of people, like you said, oh yeah, they're not great, but it doesn't really matter in the wider context of the film. Me personally, I think it's very purposely done that they're not very good or they're not amazing at singing and dancing. Like you look at the opening number in La La Land, they're all incredible. Like the choreography, the dancing, the singing is great, and then you get to these two characters who aren't that great, and you look at the rest of that film, the way it's directed and everything, it's so precise, everything's so slick, so clean. There's not a single thing in that film that isn't meant to be there. But you think a man who is obviously that specific about the way that he directs a film would then go, oh, but it's fine that my two lead actors aren't very good at singing or dancing. It's like there's a reason why they're not very good at singing and dancing. And it's because they're just two ordinary people trying to make it in this world that is like a big song and dance. And I remember reading an interview of Damien Chazelle. I did actually try to find it earlier, but I couldn't. I've got like 200 like film magazines. I couldn't find which one it was. Where he was saying, yeah, they're not great at. They'd make like mistakes when they were dancing and stuff, and people would want me to go again for another take, but I'd be like, no, they're normal people. That's fine. Like that's the flawed characters. You know, why should we have them dancing perfectly when they as characters are flawed people? Like that's fine. Like that. I want it like that.
Yeah. And
I just don't understand people kind of like if you're looking at it as a musical going, it's like a straight up musical, they're singing, they're dancing because that's what the film is, then that's, yeah, they should be incredible. But I don't think that's kind of the point of that film or their characters in that film.
Exactly. And also, musical kind of theatre is very different from what this film is. This isn't I would not class this film as a musical. Like no, it's not that big showy kind of. I'm not really a fan of musicals. I find like musicals take me out of kind of the emotion of it. Like, and I find a lot of musicals and like stage stuff, I always find that kind of over the top stuff like really takes me out of like the realness of it. And I find like in La La Land, if you had musical theatre actors who are like trained to kind of play over the top kind of roles and sing about and stuff, I don't think that would not have worked like at all.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying that it's bad. Obviously, it's not. It's a completely different like art of acting in a film like that and doing a big song and dance on a stage. Like it's a completely different thing. And if people like that, fine, whatever. I personally don't like that. Like why would you hire someone? Like could another pair have done that? Could a music? You couldn't imagine like two big musical actors doing that scene when he like comes home early and then they have that big round stuff.
Yeah,
like that's why he picked those two actors, because they're the best actors. They're two of the best actors in the world right now. Like why would you pick someone whose speciality is not what the film's about? Do you know, like? Yeah,
they're both incredible actors, and to like one of the criticisms a lot of people have had for this film is not only are they not very good at singing or dancing, but also that there isn't that many songs or dances in it. Like the majority of this film is based on actors acting, their acting ability and not their singing or dancing ability. Whether if you discard if there is a deeper meaning to why they aren't that good or whatever. And obviously the opening number's really big and stagey. That's like you can imagine that being done in like a West End or Broadway performance, that opening bit with obviously not with that many cars, but that sort of thing did feel like a musical. Whereas when they got into
stage.
When it got into their sort of stuff, when they had their songs, it was a lot more like low key, as you say. It wasn't. But that again, I think there's meaning behind that a lot of people haven't picked up on, and I think that's mainly down to the marketing of this film. When people going, yeah, we want it to be like, people wanted it to be a musical, people were expecting it to be a musical, and it kind of wasn't. But they were kind of misled by the marketing. But I don't know how else you could have marketed this film. I think it's a really difficult film to market, and it kind of fell into this slot of, it's the feel-good film of the year, and it's the one that everyone can enjoy and watch and stuff like that. And it kind of isn't that. I don't think. I think it would be a lot better if it kind of. I think it would have a lot less criticism if it hadn't been the one Oscar film this year that completely. Do you know, there's always one like that explodes and everybody goes and watches because they've heard how great it is. I think it would have been better if it wasn't like that, because I don't think
almost
this is a
like
film.
it's a Whiplash, yeah.
Yeah, it isn't a film for like everyone. It's not a film for just the average cinema goer. But because it was marketed as that, people ended up questioning what was kind of going on.
Why can't Ryan Gosling
sing? No, I think it was a good enough film to be enjoyable if you didn't. I don't know. I feel like it did have wide appeal. I think people just felt misled, but only in certain circles. So it's only if you're like really into musicals or. Yeah.
Well, no, there's a lot of people that I like. Laura felt misled at first, and then I kind of like we spoke about it and stuff, and I sort of said from a filmmaking perspective why I thought they'd done certain things. And she started going, "Oh yeah, that's kind of, now you've said it to me, it kind of makes sense." And she said she would like to watch it again without those expectations of what she expects it to be. I know a lot of people she like sees online in her groups of like Facebook musical theatre Facebook groups have said similar things, and there's been discussions about it. But even like normal everyday people haven't really liked it. Like our dad, he didn't particularly. He was like, yeah, it was all right, it's fine. Yeah, it didn't kind of.
Dad doesn't like any films though. He has like a quote. He has like a quota for the amount of films he can like per decade, and that's about 2 films.
He likes Deliverance and Airplane, and that's.
He liked Lord of the Rings. I think that's the last film he liked, isn't it?
He liked Bridge of Spies with me. We went to watch that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can't think of anything else he's liked recently. But no, there were people, I think, that like everyday people that were disappointed by it. But again, because I think a lot of it's under this. I think a lot of it's under the surface with what I think's great about that film. Anyway.
Yeah, because I've watched it like on the way to America and then the way back from America. And you just notice like little things that you really don't notice the first time round, and it's not like in your face. It's just tiny little nods.
It's ridiculously clever.
Even like callbacks within its own structure. There's like bits where I think she has like a really bad audition, and she drives past the cinema she's going on that date with, and she sort of smiles, and like the music kind of takes a upbeat kind of turn, and then you kind of have her drive past it later, like after they've had a fight or something, and she kind of like looks upset about it, and it kind of like you wouldn't notice it because she doesn't necessarily turn around and look at the theatre. You just see it sort of in the background.
Yeah, exactly.
There's loads of little things like that, which is so cool.
Yeah, it's a very, very clever film. It's really subtle, but I think a lot of people just went in going, "Oh, went in and came out with just 2 people, like a romance film with a bit of song in it."
Do you want to hear what The Guardian said?
No, because I know which article you're going to quote, and I really don't like this article at all.
The male lead, Ryan Gosling's Sebastian, has been indicted for boorishness and insensitivity. When he is not white-splaining jazz, he is mansplaining it to Emma Stone's Mia. I mean, white-splaining jazz. Who's he white-splaining jazz to?
The white person.
White-splaining only works if you're explaining something
to someone who's
not white.
Who's not white. And which at no point does he try and tell a black person what.
Yeah,
I mean, mansplaining. It's not mansplaining just because you're a man explaining something to a woman.
No, especially
she's not into jazz. He's explaining his passion for jazz.
I've had that conversation with you about jazz. I've been the explainer of jazz
because
I'm a big jazz fan.
Woman-splaining to me.
So I guess it means I'm woman-splaining jazz to you.
It's stupid though, just like as you say, just because. Like she openly admits, I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like
jazz.
Oh,
it's elevator music. It's not.
That's like mansplaining's when they like understand it, but you still try to explain it to them in a really patronising sense. And I don't think he does it in a patronising sense. No. He does it in a kind of I'm so passionate about this sort of way.
Yeah, like, I love jazz.
If like speaking to somebody about your passion passionately is mansplaining, and I think we've pretty much all done that at some point.
Or white-splaining, yeah.
Or white-splaining. Like... Just
because he's a white guy doesn't mean he can't be passionate or knowledgeable about jazz. That's not insulting to black people if you're passionate about something that they like. It's not exclusive to black people. Like what's the point? And then he also said there's another article that I read on sort of MTV where it said basically that the black man John Legend was willing to sell out, while the white man was the one who wanted to preserve jazz. He was the one trying to save jazz. And it was, in actual fact, it's the other way around.
Yeah, it's so wrong.
Ryan Gosling's the one who's like
stuck in the past, stuck in the mud,
ways, and the other guy's the one who understands what jazz is about and is the one progressing jazz. That's the black guy. If it's the other way around, that would also be racist. Like, which way round is racist and which is just stupid.
There's that whole scene where John Legend says to Ryan Gosling, "How are you going to bring this back? How are you going to make this popular if you're literally just doing what everyone else has done?" He says to him, "Is that blaxplaining?" Him saying
probably,
to him, yeah. You need you can't just do there and do the same old stuff. You need to do something new to make it relevant again. Like, there's literally a whole scene about that. And like, I hate when people bring in race for no reason, where it's like, he's a black character, he's a white character. Sebastian could easily have been black. John Legend's character could easily have been white. There's I don't think there's any mention.
Then it would have been the black man stuck in their past and the white guy's progressive. Exactly, it would have been offensive that way as well.
There's no plot significance to them being the races
no,
that
exactly,
they are.
No, there isn't.
It's just like, that's the way it should be. That, do you know what? That character happens to be black because that was the actor that they hired, and he happened to be a black actor. And
it's like, the MTV article also said, if you're going to make a film about an artist staying true to the roots of jazz against the odds and against modern reinventions of the genre from white musicians, you think that artist would be black.
But that's patronising.
That's really patronising. That's like, oh, white people just don't understand jazz. You can't like jazz, or like, I don't understand like what.
There's something very wrong with that. I don't know what.
How can
it is specifically with that. Something in that statement makes me uncomfortable. Like, I don't know what it actually is, but.
Right, let's see.
It's just like, why should he be black?
I think it's a misunderstanding of jazz to say that reinventions of the genre have mainly come from white musicians, because I think that in itself is incorrect. I don't think Mayer and Hawthorne, I've not even heard of them. Are they white guys? Apparently,
I don't know.
Maybe, but
possibly.
I don't think that that's where jazz is at the moment. I think they're misunderstanding that anyway.
Yeah, but it's MTV, isn't it? All they know is like Selena Gomez and stuff, and
true that.
Boobs. So
yeah, maybe they're thinking of like Michael Bublé or something. It's like that's.
But it's also like,
but that's not
real
jazz.
It's also like the point of Seb's character, that he's so like arrogant and kind of stuck in the past, and so that's kind of point.
He's supposed to be he's not doing the right thing for jazz, because he's not helping to save it, because he's keeping it really isolated and insular and not explain. I mean, he explained it really well to Mia, and that was the whole thing. She was saying, just do that to more people, just like get them to experience it properly. And he's there saying, oh no, I'm going to like do it really insular, I'm not going to branch out at all, I'm not going to
like the chicken on the stick conversation, where he's like, I want to call it chicken on the stick because it's a really niche joke that only I can understand.
He's really like hipster about it. He's really like, you can only enjoy it if you understand it properly, and if you don't understand it properly, you're not trying hard enough, kind of thing. And he's that doesn't make him a good jazz.
It doesn't glorify his decision necessarily, although he does end up with his jazz club.
Which is the right thing to do.
But then he's called it Seb, so he's like changed, obviously, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it obviously shows like the end that he's.
It's like, if, do you know, then that scene where John Legend's going, you need to like reinvent jazz and stuff, and then he, you know, said something really patronising and stuff, going like, no, you don't understand jazz, man. Like, this is how it is. Then that wouldn't be great. But what I don't get is, characters are supposed to be flawed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I hate when people have.
Why is Seb being kind of a bit narcissistic, a bit arrogant, a bit. Yeah, like.
That's the point.
Kind of, I am above everybody else because I like jazz and I understand it and stuff. That's his character. He is like that.
That's the point of the film as well. That he's too arrogant to give up on his dream to go to Paris with her, and that's why they break up.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the point.
And like, that's the. It's sort of going. Like, I didn't watch this. You guys watched this, but you know, like Fences, like. Denzel Washington got loads of praise for that film, like loads, and then I saw bits of it.
Oh, he's an asshole.
He's horrible in that film.
Yeah.
And you're going, so it's all right for a black lead to be a horrible human being, but it's not acceptable for a white lead to not be a very good. Admittedly, Denzel Washington's probably a worse guy in Fences than Ryan Gosling.
Without a doubt, he is.
Without a doubt, like Denzel Washington's character is like a horrible guy. At least Ryan Gosling's, whether he's misguided reasons or not, he's got his passion. He's like, I want to do this.
But you'd almost argue that he has he does have like a white guy's kind of understanding of jazz. If you know, like it's sort of quite.
It's basic.
It's quite like hipstery kind of this.
Yeah. Purist and elitist.
Huh?
Elitist.
Yeah, it feels like quite an elitist sort of point of view, which is surely a negative look at his character. So the fact that he's, I just don't like people people just love to hate things that people have loved, don't they? So just pick it apart for no apparent reason. When there's actual real racism and whitewashing and stuff, which we'll probably do an episode about whitewashing.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's actually real situations of this, and people have to pick apart a great film.
A great film that's good
for no
fun.
reason.
Yeah.
And it's not even picking apart the film, because that's the film's done exactly what it wants to do. It's not made a mistake by putting a white guy in it. Like,
yeah, that film does everything that it wants to do, and if that's going to sound patronising, but if you don't like that, then just don't watch it. Then don't rip it apart because you kind of fail to see the point of the film.
Yeah, it's not like ripping apart a bad film.
Yeah.
Because everyone can see the faults in it, but
people did a similar thing with like Birdman and stuff, didn't they? Because they think it's sort of being pretentious, and you're like, it's just because it's got a deeper meaning doesn't mean that it's pretentious.
Yeah.
Plus, the whole thing about Birdman was that it was a little bit pretentious, but purposely so, because it was laughing at that sort of pretentiousness in films.
Satire, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
I really liked Birdman.
Satire. Yeah, exactly, but it's satire. I had something actually about
there's even animals in it.
Obviously, there's no animals.
There's a bird man.
There's a bird man.
Therefore, it is satire.
Yeah. Therefore, it definitely is satire.
I think obviously we started the discussion on the back of should musical theatre people have been used in it.
True.
But obviously, what they did in the olden days with this sort of thing was, they'd get the recognised name to do the acting and the performance, but then the songs would be dubbed over by someone like a musical theatre performer who can actually sing.
It's like the whole premise of The Sound of... no, not The Sound of Music. What's the one? Singing in the Rain. There you go.
Yeah, and because it's like stuff like My Fair Lady, which had Audrey Hepburn in it. Like, she didn't do her own singing in that. And you've got things like Lion King. Matthew Broderick didn't do the singing for Simba. Like, none of them did. James Earl Jones didn't do. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they didn't do the singing for it. They got someone else into it. Which I know some musical theatre people have come out and made a point for.
I kind of disagree with that.
Saying that because in a way you go, yeah, if you want the singing to be great, that's probably the way to go. But as I said, I don't think they wanted the singing to be absolutely amazing. But that aside, is it almost patronising to go, because that person, they get a paycheck and they get like the credit and stuff, but does anybody actually know who does that singing and stuff?
Exactly. It's kind of you can get away with it in an animation because it's like the voice can just change and you don't really notice. Like all of the Disney princesses are random other people that are singing them. Some of them even are
random
sung by
other
the same
people.
Well,
some of the biggest musical theatre stars in the world.
Exactly,
but random
but
people.
like they're not even like the same race as their characters and stuff. And some of them are the same singer for two different princesses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then, if it's something like My Fair Lady, it gets away with it because it's an old classic. I don't think we can get away with it having things dubbed over.
I don't see why you'd get away with it, because
Emma Stone's got a very specific voice.
Exactly,
as well.
and her voice, like her singing that like audition song, is so like integral to her character. Like someone else sung that in the style of musical theatre, that would not work.
Well,
the style of musical theatre would not work in this film at all.
Well, I don't know. I think maybe you're expecting musical theatre style to be always really loud and bolshy.
But it's like the opening song where Emma Stone's with the girls, the act girls. They have such a different tone.
But
and they're not acting when they sing. They're performing,
singing.
But they're not kind of acting as a character. They're not characters in the film. They're just singing. They're singing really well, but it's kind of. It doesn't feel like they're singing with like an emotion or kind of as a character. It feels like they're singing it as a performer rather than a character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was my.
There are times like I've seen some musical theatre where people have actually. Like,
I'd say like the best
blow me
musical
away
theatre
with.
is...
Yeah, I'm not saying they don't generally. I'm just saying in that opening scene with
the
Emma
opening
Stone, like it's pure performance and no character. And I feel like if you did hire someone or to dub over it, that's what it would be. It wouldn't be
Yeah,
character driven.
yeah.
It'd be performance driven.
Yeah.
And you can't like the City of Stars thing. It's just a guy singing a song. Like, you don't want that. It's sort of like, why do you need that sung? I don't know why.
How much of a difference would it make?
It's
Maybe-
like
Yeah, no, I mean,
saying if there's a film about like a sports star, why don't you only hire sports stars to like do it? Like, it doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, but the stunt guys will do the sports bits though, who are good at the sports.
Yeah, I guess you get
Because
stunt
because
doubles.
the
True.
lead actor can't do it.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? It depends like what you kind of want. That's
Then-
the
But
that's
But Ryan
the point.
Gosling isn't supposed to be like
But then
a musical.
as a
star.
director,
Yeah.
wouldn't you want to have as much integrity as you can with the characters that you've got? And I would want, if I was making a film, I'd want it all to be as real as possible. And if it's singing in it, you'd want them to be the singers.
No, I agree because it's there's a point to it. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying this is what some people have said. Like if someone wanted this thing, like say if someone did just do a generic musical, like say let's take Beauty and the Beast for example.
Yeah.
There are a lot better musical theatre singers out there than Emma Watson. Sorry. There is performance in her singing,
Who are we
but it
talking
is
about
also
now? Emma Stone.
Emma Watson in Beauty and the
Oh,
Beast.
okay.
So she's playing Belle. She looks the
She
part.
could have been in La La Land as well, apparently.
She could have been La La Land as
Yeah,
well.
they
Her
could
and
have
Miles Teller.
Miles Teller, yeah.
Which one is so weird.
It's so weird.
Like, cause
Miles
like
Teller,
Emma,
Ryan Gosling, basically the same guy, aren't they?
Yeah, kind of Emma Watson and Emma Stone. Yeah, they're different people, but you could look at them both and go, yeah, like it'd be a bit of a different part, but they are within the similar range. Sort of Ryan Gosling and Miles Teller.
And it's Miles Teller. He's
So
got the jazz background from all the drumming.
yeah,
But it's like an old potato, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Compared to
just
Ryan
mean.
Compared to Ryan Gosling, like what?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so
Ryan Gosling has an amazing arrogance about him. That's
Yeah, that's what I
still
mean. Like,
attractive.
no one else could have done that role apart from
No.
Ryan Gosling. Like, I don't think anyone else could have done that.
No.
but anyway, there are better musical theatre things out there than Emma Watson. She like looks the part and everything. You understand why they want to get a recognised name in. That's all fine. But like you guys have seen it, would it have been better getting like a really powerful musical theatre singer to do her songs?
No.
Like because there's performance within her songs, but like
I
a
think-
musical theatre performer can perform that performance because it is a generic musical, and they would have been better, especially with Dan Stevens as well. Because
There's no need for Dan Stevens to even play that role at all.
Like Dan Stevens does a song.
I don't like his mannerisms as the Beast.
He does a song, doesn't he, on top of the tower?
Yeah, it's
and then
real
that
bad.
that song's reprised in the credits, sung by Josh Groban, I think.
Yeah.
And it's just so much better in the credits than in the actual film.
Yeah, there's
So you just kind of go, what, like, this is a traditional musical based thing. Why not get someone in that can do, like, it is difficult because like film's collaborative. So you just go, at what point is it all right to do that kind of thing? Do you know what I mean? Like a director maybe not be great at the camera work and stuff. That's why they've got a director of photography there, because they are good at that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, why is it wrong to say an actor is very good, very, very good at acting, but not very good at, or only average at singing? Let's bring someone in to do the songs
I
for
think
them.
for Beauty and the Beast it probably would have worked.
Yeah, I think
Like,
in
I
La
don't
La-
think like there's not an awful lot of kind of acting ability needed. Like,
the
not saying
songs.
like they can't act, but you don't need an Oscar-winning actor to play that role.
Oh no. Although, have you seen those pictures of her walking down the stairs with?
Oh, to be fair, yeah, he looks.
He looks like an absolute I don't even know what he looks like. To keep a straight face.
What is this, Dan Stevens when he's dressed up in his
Yeah, it is like whatever it is.
motion capture
mocap
outfit?
Yeah, he looks awful.
But then I thought that Emma Watson's singing was really good. She surprised me actually.
Yeah, she's surprised me.
But then it does make you think. Why don't you? I mean, a lot of people that get into acting when they first start out have to do a lot of singing roles because that's all you get at school. Really, is musicals that you have to do.
Yeah.
So surely there are a lot of actors that are really good actors, and then happen to also be really good singers. I mean, a lot of people can sing well. It's not
Yeah.
I'm saying like
a massively hard thing.
there's
to be able
nothing
to
wrong.
achieve.
I'm not offended by listening to Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone sing.
no.
Like,
No, but I don't know.
I think you really, really have to be into it to be offended by it.
especially like given like a lot of musicians aren't great. Like the Gallaghers, can they sing?
No.
Can.
Exactly.
Well, Noel can. Liam can't.
Liam
but
can't, no.
He's
no
the
one
main
else.
singer of like one of the biggest bands of the
Yeah,
90s.
yeah,
No-
exactly.
And
Nobody else.
it's not always
Nobody
about how
cares,
good your
do
voice
they?
is. It's about how you
Morrissey.
express what you're trying to express.
Yeah.
Morrissey doesn't like sing fantastically well. He just sings like really high.
I'm so sad.
Yeah,
Now I'm
and
going
with an
to
accent.
kill myself. Now I'm a little bit happier.
Yeah.
And now I'm sad.
What's he got to be so sad about? He's got loads of money.
What about Emma Thompson in Beauty and the Beast sings with an awful English accent?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's terrible.
see, I
That's
think
awful.
that is a little bit different. I mean, she probably could do with someone like better, but
I don't
think
have a problem with
it's-
her being the one that sang
Yeah.
it. I have a problem with like the
Yeah.
amount of acting that she's adding to it that's unnecessary and sounds like stupid.
I think it's just because obviously with a musical this, you have like your leads who, generally need to have big, powerful, emotive, performance-driven voices, and then you get like character actors who are a bit
Yeah.
more like the quality doesn't have to be as good because they're like she plays a teapot, like come on, like you know what I mean, it kind of there's a bit more leeway to it. But I did hear her singing and just was a bit like
I just hated every minute of it.
I
Cause
thought
it-
she was
'cause it's
awful
kind of
all
like-
around,
Yeah.
yeah.
I suppose it's a bit like like Simone and Pumbaa in Lion King.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't say they're great singers, but like
but at least
Hakuna
you can
Matatas.
you can kind of enjoy their singing. I just
But
really
she's
Yeah,
not.
don't
yeah.
enjoy
Like,
Emma Thompson.
it's obviously
at all.
Emma Thompson doing a terrible
It's
accent.
like really hammed up. It's
If she
like
actually
so
had a
hammy.
she actually had a Cockney accent. If someone actually had a Cockney accent, something like that, fine.
Yeah.
But not like a weird, like
overdone, like,
borderline
Yeah,
kind of
overdone.
offensive version
Yeah.
of it.
It's quite
Just, all right, mate.
All right, I'm from London. It is what I thought.
It was like,
It's
it's
literally
like an
it's
American
terrible.
trying to do a Cockney accent.
So
And
So what you're
she's
saying
English.
is if Danny Dyer was playing the teapot, you'd be fine with it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's,
I would,
that's exactly
I would
what I'm
really
saying.
love
That's
to hear that.
that's a good way to end the podcast.
I would
Yeah, that's
much
a great way to
prefer
know that.
If Danny
have
Dyer was in Beauty and the Beast,
Playing the teapot,
it would have been
Yeah.
better.
we'd all be happy. What
Yeah.
about Danny Dyer playing Seb? All right, mate. I love
just
me
want to
some
save
jazz.
jazz.
Proper naughty jazz.
So I Photoshop Danny Dyer's face onto
Yeah, please do.
Ryan
This
Gosling.
is some promo material. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Okay.
Shall we wrap up?
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are our criticisms of the criticisms of La La Land?
They're just unfounded and pointless, and people who think it don't understand the film.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, cool.
Not to mansplain it to anybody, but
Or
yeah.
white explain it, Matt.
Or
not
white
explain it. But if you didn't like it, you didn't get it.
I wish you were dead.
No, I think it's a shame that people didn't enjoy it because I think it's so.
Yeah.
It's such a
It's one of
lovely
those-
film.
It's one of those films where, to go back to Birdman again. When people told me they didn't like Birdman, I
Final
was like,
thoughts are going on for a long time.
no. When people said they didn't like Birdman, I was like, oh, all right, yeah, I get why you might not have been into that, but I really liked it. With this, I'm kind of like sad when people tell me they didn't like it.
Yeah, I feel like
I
there's
sort
so
of feel like
much they
people are
could
pretending
gain
not to
from
like it.
Yeah,
Because I don't
well,
understand
yeah.
how you can not like it. It's like, yeah, you're just saying that and you're wrong.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, I know that people are going to like it to different degrees. Like if you you picked up on as we were saying earlier, all the little bits and pieces, you're going to enjoy it more. But so some people might not pick up on all that, but might just be like, yeah, I thought it was all right. Yeah, I liked it. It was all right. Like that's fine. But it's like the people that have like a hatred
Vendetta
for
against
it.
people
Yeah,
have an issue with
passion.
it. Yeah, that's annoying me.
Like I'm just like you're wrong.
You are
Yes.
incorrect.
You are incorrect.
I got
pretty
really
much.
sad because my dad said he enjoyed it and everything, but he couldn't remember any of the songs. Like they just didn't stick with him. And he's a jazz musician, and I was like, oh,
It wasn't proper jazz though. Your
No,
dad's
it
like
wasn't.
experimental
Yeah,
jazz.
He's like proper into jazz. So I was
Yeah.
like, all right, all the songs stuck with me, and I loved all of them. So
Yeah,
maybe it just wasn't jazzy enough for him.
maybe not.
Yeah.
Then it wouldn't have been accessible for anybody else.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah,
been as
exactly. If
jazzy
it'd
as
been
he
like
wanted.
experimental jazz, then
Yeah.
What's the Parks and Rec joke where it's like Miles Davis played over?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Surveys show that our listeners love jazz.
insert the clip here, Rob, so everyone gets
I
it.
will put it in. I'll say
Yeah.
it.
Will you?
Um,
Make me too lazy.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
I love Miles Davis. Turn blue.
Now it's time for Jazz plus Jazz equals Jazz. Today we have a recording of Benny Goodman played over a separate recording of Miles Davis.
Research shows that our listeners love jazz.
Best
So our question was, should La La Land have cast musical theatre actors.
No, it misunderstands the point of the film fundamentally.
Matt, no.
Nope.
No. Should they classed a black actor? Doesn't matter.
They may have done.
Yeah.
Like they may.
Yeah, it's
they easily
irrelevant.
could
Yeah,
have.
exactly.
That would have been fine too if they had done.
Yeah, I feel like there aren't enough black actors in those sorts of roles, so it would have been good if they had.
But then Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling is
Who,
amazing.
exactly. Who?
I
You can't substitute Ryan Gosling. There's not many people who you can't.
That argument scene is just incredible.
Who you could substitute out. There are like few actors who you would think could not be substituted, and he's probably one of them.
Yeah.
Whereas like every role he's played, I couldn't imagine anyone else kind of doing that most of the time.
He is very charismatic.
He is, yeah. Even when he plays a dick.
That's the thing, isn't it? Like anyone else, I don't think anyone could have played the arrogant dick.
Yeah,
and yet make him likable.
I think Miles Teller would have come off as. I don't think you would have liked him.
Well, no one likes him anyway, so.
Yeah, no one really likes him anyway, do they? I think.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, I think he's a bit misunderstood as well, but
misunderstood.
No, I think some of his quotes have been taken out of context a lot of the time, or just phrased badly.
It's fun to dick on people when they
It's
seem
fun
like
to dick on people.
Yeah, when they seem like they're being up their own arse.
What's that even mean?
That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Just to like be a dick to people. It's fun to like.
Well, don't you say that then? So just dick on people.
Right.
Yeah.
You just don't get the lingo. Whatevs.
Whatever. That's a show. We hope you enjoyed this new format of the podcast. If you didn't, let us know and we'll change back.
Now, hopefully people will, because otherwise,
no, because
if they record a few.
If they don't like it just means they didn't get it.
So by the time this is out, there should be three. There should be 3 podcasts also out at the same time. So give a listen to all of them. Hit subscribe, share it with your friends. We're on all the social media things. We'll put them in the description. And if you're the best way to probably help us out is to leave us an iTunes review and rating. That's probably the best way we can find like new audiences and stuff. So thanks for listening. See you next time. And also, if you want us to answer any sort of questions or queries you might have,
if you've got a real issue to put forward,
if you've got a real issue, let us know.
That'd be cool.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.